Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MTGO Traders. My name is Taryn, and this is Golgari Zombies for Guilds of Ravnica Standard. So this is a deck list that I have spent a ton of time on, making sure the tweaking and the brewing all kind of mesh together to make a very cool deck. So let's jump right into the deck tech and talk about this deck fully. So here we are, as always. The deck list is going to be right below me, and of course the cards are going to be to this side. I guess your left, my right. So let's start off with our Diagraph Ghoul here at complete 4 of a 1-mana 2/2, enters the battlefield tapped. That's not really a detriment to us because it is a great card because it's an early game attacker, and the zombie deck is all about being super aggressive and aggro, and Diagraph Ghoul helps us do that. Next up, we've got Stitcher Supplier, a great card for us for zombies because we have lots of stuff going to the graveyard, and Stitcher Supplier is going to help with that. A 1-mana 1/1, when it enters the battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Super spicy there. Then we have a Graveyard Marshall, a 2-mana 3/2 zombie soldier. You can pay 3, exile the creature card from your graveyard, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. So Marshall and the Stitcher Supplier actually work really well with one another, because if you have the Supplier on turn 1 and a Marshall on turn 2, turn 3 you can make a zombie probably from your graveyard by exiling it and making a 2/2 with the Marshall here. Now, not always useful in that particular kind of scenario, but still pretty good. Of course, the Marshall is also a 3/2 just for 2, which is also quite powerful as well. Next up, we've got Death Baron, a 3-mana 2/2 zombie wizard. Skeletons and skeletons you control and zombies you control. There we go. I don't know why it says it that way, but you get +1/+1 and have Death Touch, so very important for us as well. Basically our zombie lord for the deck in standard. Very, very good. The best part about the Death Baron here is that it can stack on top of each other, and it can give zombies Death Touch, which is the best part about Death Baron. If it just said Death Touch, this would still be a playable card. The +1/+1 is just like cherry on top, because Death Touch is basically making your creatures unblockable most of the time in the early game until like your opponent just has to block something, and they're going to definitely try to either remove Death Baron or, trying to trade with a creature that has Death Touch. Next up here we have Erstwhile Trooper. This is an interesting card for us. A 3-mana 2/2 zombie soldier. Discard a creature card. Erstwhile Trooper gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. So very good because you can use it on your opponent's turn and on your turn. Very good at being able to kind of dodge any kind of negative removal. Also very good at being able to use this with Find and Finality. Discard a card, make it a 4/4, then put 2 counters on this, and then Finality, -4 the entire board. The Trooper is still a 2/2, and it can still attack in, which is quite good. Basically dodging removal and board wipe. But also very good at being able to kind of be a surprise attack against your opponent. Like if they're attacking out, or if you're blocking one of them, this can turn to a 4/4 and eat whatever that's coming in, or whatever you're attacking out too. So very useful here. Of course, you can only use it once per turn. It's not Lawless Troll from Return to Ravnica block, sadly, but it's kind of like echoing the flavor of that card, which is nice. And of course, the art on this card is pretty good too. Next up for us, we've got Midnight Reaper, a new card from Guilds of Ravnica, a 3-mana 3/2 zombie knight. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Midnight Reaper deals 1 damage to you, and you draw a card. So this is super good for you if your opponent has a board wipe against you, basically refilling your entire hand, giving you lots of new creatures, lots of new spells, maybe some new planeswalkers as well. Very good card for that. And also a card that kind of discourages your opponent from killing anything else but the Midnight Reaper first, because it's just a great value gainer as you're going out throughout the match. So Midnight Reaper is one of the best cards in the deck list here for us, and that's why it's a complete 4 of. And the last 2 cards in here for creatures is Underrealm Lich, a 5-mana 4/3 zombie elf shaman. Lots of things there. If you would draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You can pay 4 life. Underrealm Lich gains indestructible until end of turn, and you can tap it. So this dodges removal if you have the life for it, but it also gives you the ability to pick through the top 3 cards of your deck and put that into your hand, and the other 2 into the graveyard. So if there's 3 zombies, you pick the best one, and the other 2 go to the graveyard. You can use those for later with things like Graveyard Marshall. Or you can use them with Liliana Untouched by Death. We'll talk about that in just a second as well. But also, the best part about this is that it can just be indestructible. So attacking it or blocking, you can just pay 4 life and give it indestructible. A little bit better than a Danto Vanguard, because a Danto Vanguard is a 1/1. You have to pay 4 life for it to give it indestructible. So very similar ability. Of course, the only downside here is it is a ability that taps it, so it can be off a line for a turn if you give it vigilance or something like that in a different deck list. But you know, block something and then give it indestructible, tap it, it can still block, which is good. Moving on to spells here, we've got, of course, the Tron Killer here. Assassin's Trophy, a 2-mana instant. Destroy target permanent and opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle their library. So this is one of the reasons to run Golgari Zombies, one of the reasons to run Golgari in general in Standard right now. Assassin's Trophy is one of the best removal spells ever, and that's not even being hyperbolic. This card is amazing, super powerful, always going to be a 4 of in any kind of Golgari deck, and that's definitely no exception here. Next up for us, we've got Find and Finality. A very good card for us, especially because we have lots of stuff going to the graveyard. Find is going to help us get 2 creature cards back from the graveyard, and Finality is a great way to board wipe our opponent. Both of these are doing really good things for us in the zombie deck, and I just love the art on both of these as well. Very nice as well. Moving on to our Planeswalkers, we've got 4 Liliana, Untouched by Death, a 4-mana 4 loyalty. +1, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. If at least one of them is a zombie card, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This is a super good ability, especially against the more mid-range to control decks in the meta right now, because Liliana can just eat an opponent if they're not really prepared to take 2 life every turn. So if they don't have any removal for Liliana soon, then Liliana can just win the game for you, which is super powerful. Also, you can -2. Target creature gets -/- until end of turn, where X is the number of zombies you control. This is very good against the more aggro and more creature-based decks in the format. You can have 2 or 3 zombies in the battlefield and just -2 and destroy something on their side of the field, which is very nice. And -3, you may cast zombie cards from your graveyard this turn. So this would be a turn after play for Liliana. You want a +1 probably first, and then the following turn when you're untapped on mana, -3. That way, if you have a lot of zombies in your graveyard, you can just start casting them like gangbusters, and then get those all out on the battlefield and continue to crash in for damage. One of the best things, especially in the mid to late game, is those Death Barons normally hit the graveyard first over anything else. So if they're in the graveyard, -3 with Liliana the following turn after you play her, and you'll get probably 1 or 2 Death Barons onto the battlefield, which is so nice. Our other Planeswalker here in the deck list is Vraska Golgari Queen, a 4-mana 4 loyalty legendary Planeswalker. +2, you may sacrifice another permanent. If you do, you gain 1 life and draw a card, which is not bad. -3 though, destroy target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 3 or less. This is Abrupt Decay, and it's very good for us. One of the best reasons to run Vraska in this deck list. And -9, you get an emblem with whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. We're very rarely going to get the -9 here for Vraska, but the +1 or +2 and the -3 are super useful to us, as 1, they give us card advantage, they gain us life, and they get to destroy a non-land permanent, which is also super good for Vraska. Now, they're both at the 4-mana slot, which is not bad either, and that's kind of the top of the curve, despite the Underrealm Lich being the top of the curve for us. The most expensive card in the deck list, of course, for mana cost is Finality at, I believe that was 6 mana, correct? Yeah, 6 mana for Finality there. So let's move on to our lands here. That's all the cards in the deck list. We've got, of course, 6 Forest, 10 Swamp, and then 4 Overgrown Tomb and 4 Woodland Cemetery. A very simple land base. Wanted to do this because we have lots of double black mana. We have a lot of black and green, just strict mana constrictions. We could have added maybe some Field of Ruins in here if we really wanted to, but I think we want to really keep and make sure we can focus on keeping our mana completely the colors we want them to be, as it is quite difficult in the mid to late game, or early game actually, to get that double black mana for that Marshal, double black mana for the Death Baron, and so on. But that is all the cards in the main deck list. That's the full 60. So let's go on to the sideboard here and talk about these. We've got Deadeye Tracker. Now this isn't a zombie, but it's a very good card for us. A 1 black mana 1/1. You can pay 2, tap it, exile 2 target cards from an opponent's graveyard. Deadeye Tracker explores. I like this over probably the Sentinel Totem right now for the Golgari list, because you can normally kind of protect this card a little bit with the board state being so aggressive. But also, it's just very good right now against the Undergrowth decks, against the Surveil decks, against the Jumpstart decks. A lot of graveyard recursion kind of going on right now. Deadeye Tracker can get rid of those cards, also kind of help us either get a land or kind of pitch something on the top of our deck to the graveyard if we really need to. And this can be a 2/2, a 3/3, and so on, and be an attacker in the mid to late game if opponent doesn't deal with the tracker in the early game. Next, of course, against the control matchup, of course, we've got 4 Duress. It's always going to be in the sideboard if we're up against a control deck, and it's definitely coming in here. A 1 mana sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. Choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. So very simple, very straightforward, but always super good in a control or mid-rangey matchup. Walk the Plank here is for us because Merfolk is basically dead in Standard, which is kind of sad because I feel like Merfolk is a really good deck list, and we may revisit that again. But Walk the Plank is a 2-mana sorcery, destroy target non-Merfolk creature. So basically a 2-mana destroy target creature spell for you that's going to work on everything. So Cast Down could be the card to bring in here instead of Walk the Plank, but you know, we're Golgari, we have lots of black mana deck list. Walk the Plank is perfectly fine for us. Next up for us, we've got Crushing Canopy. So this is an interesting inclusion for us. We could have gone with something that's more maybe destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment. But I really like Crushing Canopy, especially for the mono blue tempo decks, the Boros Angels decks, those kind of things, as well as kind of pitching against any kind of Divine Visitation deck as well. A 3-mana instant. Choose one, destroy target creature with flying, or destroy target enchantment. Both of those things are very relevant to us in the meta right now, and it's only 3 mana for an instant speed spell. I think I'll take it for the sideboard with a complete 3 of. Not a complete, it's just 3. Not a complete 4 of, it's just 3. There we go. And then the next up for us, we've got a board wipe spell against more Boros aggro, more mono red aggro. Ritual of Soot here. A 4-mana sorcery. Destroy our creatures with a converted mana cost 3 or less. So this is kind of an issue for us because it can wipe our board state as well. However, you know, we can definitely bounce back thanks to our creatures being pretty good at being able to come back from the graveyard. And the last cards in the deck list here for the sideboard is, of course, 2 Bone Dragons, a 5-mana 5/4 flyer. You can pay 5, exile 7 other cards from your graveyard, return Bone Dragon from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Now, this is really here to kind of help combat Boros Angels, also really here to combat any kind of super gummed up ground board state kind of stuff. So Boros Mentor or a mono green stomping, those kind of things where our board state might just get kind of stalled a little bit. Bringing in Bone Dragon really does help get that extra damage out against your opponent so they can kind of go over those creatures and kind of hopefully end the match really quickly for you. It also has really good synergy with the rest of our deck list because, you know, we have a lot of cards going into the graveyard, and Bone Dragon can definitely take advantage of them pretty early on in the match. Of course, it's going to take us till turn 5 for Bone Dragon, and if we do pitch this into the graveyard with a Citrus Supplier, we can definitely just return it from the graveyard onto the battlefield immediately for just, again, 5 mana, which is the cost of Bone Dragon. So very useful card overall. But that concludes all the cards in the deck list. That's the full 75. If you're looking to build this deck list on MTGO Traders, it's coming to about 70 tickets, which is not bad. And if you're looking to build this on paper, it's coming to about 243 bucks. Which is a little more expensive than I would like. Of course, the reason for that is Assassin's Trophy, the Overgrown Tomb. Those are the 2 cards there, and of course the Planeswalkers in the deck list as well. But let's move on to the matches here and see how this deck performs. All right, guys, let's get into the matches here and see how Golgari Zombies does in Guilds of Ravnica Standard. We have a pretty good opening hand with this match. Tap land for the opponent, going for a Overgrown Tomb, paying 2, Diagraph Ghoul coming in tapped. Very nice. I'm going to go for a Kaizo Freebooter. They're going to obviously grab the Assassin's Trophy here. Feels like it anyway. They may grab the Liliana. Let's see here. Yeah, going to grab the Assassin's Trophy. Makes sense. We got a Death Baron off the top. Diagraph Ghoul coming in along with the Citrus Supplier. And then just attacking in for 2. Now, of course, if they go with the block here on the Kaizo Freebooter, then that would mean that we would get the Assassin's Trophy back. More than likely, they're not going to do that, though. This could be the blue-black tempo deck. Could also be Pirates. We'll see what happens. Opponent attacking in for 1 here. And then playing out a Thief of Sanity. Okay. Death Baron off that for us. And then we're just going to crash in for 8 points of damage on turn 3 and get them down to 10. This is going to be probably a quick match for us. Getting in for 2 here. Now this is Thief of Sanity is one of the best cards from Guilds of Ravnica, allowing them to mill us a little bit, as well as get something off the top of our deck. So we're just attacking in once again for 8. Seeing if they have something. Cast down for Death Baron. Interesting. Gonna go with that Citrus Supplier. Move there. And then we're just gonna go with the Graveyard Marshall here. We would definitely love another land for the Liliana Untouched by Death, so we can destroy the Kaizo Freebooter or Thief of Sanity. Once again, Thief of Sanity hitting us. I have no idea what they're grabbing, so could be a removal spell, could just be a creature. Looks like a creature there. Grabbed a land off the top. There we go. Liliana coming in, but Spell Pierce. Oh, that does suck for us. We're attacking in with everything, offering the trade there with a Graveyard Marshal. They're down to 2. They're attacking in with 2 once again, taking us down to 11. quite a bit of a situation here for us. But they are at 2, so they just need, yep, the Citrus Supplier coming in. And a Warkite Marauder. Death Baron off the top, absolutely. And a Citrus Supplier coming in as well. Let's just get in for 6 here. They're going to have to block, obviously, so they're going to go with a double block there. And let's see what they have for next turn. 4 cards in hand. Do they have anything against our board state here? They keep attacking in here, which is interesting. Nope, they don't have anything. Nice. Alright, sideboard here. We're going to take out Underrealm Lich, bring in Ritual of Soot. Seems like that's all we would really need for this matchup. We didn't really get a good look at their deck because they kind of played the same thing over and over again. Thief of Sanity being quite an annoying card, but we did see Warkite Marauder, so Ritual of Soot's coming in to kind of deal with a more go-wide strategy. 4-land hand with a Trooper, Supplier, and Liliana. Siren Stormtamer and a Stitcher Supplier coming out. Passing back to the opponent here. 6 cards in hand. They're going to go with a Curious Obsession onto the Siren Stormtamer. Wish we had an Assassin's Trophy, like right now. Stormtamer coming in. We've got Vraska and Liliana coming in, so they can be useful at getting rid of that Curious Obsession on the Stormtamer. This is definitely the, like, maybe mono-blue tempo with some black in it, so black-blue tempo. The only downside, of course, is that they have 2 Siren Stormtamers, so as long as they have 1 mana up, we can't Assassin's Trophy without them just losing the Siren Stormtamer there. We're going to try here, and they're just going to sack their other Stormtamer. Or they're just going to go with Spell Pierce. They're going to go with Spell Pierce. Okay. Just getting in for 5 in the air, down to 10 here. Sprite coming in. Let's go for a Vraska here and try to see if it hits. They have a counterspell. They do not. We definitely want to go for a negative here. And it's definitely going to be a situation where we could try and kill the Stormtamer here, but they're just going to sack their other Stormtamer, which does help us as far as, you know, getting off some damage from us. Vraska is definitely going to die this turn. Takes the flying damage here. Sprite hitting Vraska and the other 2 hitting us. Doing 4, dropping us down to 6. Having a really hard time kind of getting around that Curious Obsession. Again, Obsession is one of the best cards in the format because it's just a great way for them to get card advantage. And once you get that much card advantage turn over turn, it's really hard to kind of come back. We're at 6. We're just going to concede and go to game 3 here. Crushing Canopy is a card we definitely want to bring in. Not sure we did that, though, this game. This is me post-recording, so a little behind the scenes there. We do bring in Crushing Canopy. Or not. We bring in Walk the Plank. Okay. They technically do the same thing. They kill stuff. Crushing Canopy has the option for us to kill an enchantment, though. Diagraph Ghoul on turn 1, pass. You're drawn to an Assassin's Trophy. We need green mana as soon as possible. We're going to go for a Graveyard Marshall, though. One has 8 cards in hand, Drowned Catacomb, pass. Ooh, Overgrown Tomb here. We're going to have that untapped and get in for 5. They're going to cast down the Marshall here. Not bad. Let's go for a Midnight Reaper and then pass turn. 3 lands for the opponent. Going for a Thief of Sanity. We're just going to go for an Assassin's Trophy on Thief of Sanity and then crash in for 5, dropping them down to 11. This is a bit better. They don't have the turn 1 Siren Stormtamer to turn 2 Curious Obsession, so we're doing a bit better this turn. Deep Freeze from Midnight Reaper. So we could Assassin's Trophy that, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. Just so we can continue to attack in for 5. Because Deep Freeze tells me that they don't have much in their hand, and we might be able to just get out a win here really quickly. Drop them down to 1. Let's play out the Trooper here. That's going to get Lookout's Dispersal. Okay. Do you have anything to combat 2 creatures this turn? They do not! And that is it. Let's get on to match 2 here. Good line of play for that Deep Freeze. Opening hand here has 1 land, so kind of a spicy hand. We're going to keep it and play the Diagraph Ghoul and then get into an Overgrown Tomb. Shaman for the opponent. Getting go Tomb, get in for 2 here. See if they want to trade, no problem. And then let's go for a Marshall. Okay, they have red mana in their deck list. Midnight Reaper for the opponent. We could go with a Death Baron or a Midnight Reaper ourselves. That's exactly what we're going to do. So let's get in for 3 here and see if they want to trade. They do want to trade. We draw an extra card. They draw an extra card as well, but we have an extra creature on the battlefield, so still winning the race here. Shaman from the opponent here. Gonna go for a land. Could go with a Death Baron or Assassin's Trophy. Or Graveyard Marshal. Either way, we're doing good stuff here. Let's just go to a combat and attack in first and see if they're going to block. No blocks, looks like. Nice. Alright, let's go to main phase 2 and play out the Marshal and hold up an Assassin's Trophy. Holding up that trophy just in case they have a large creature like, yep, Steel Leaf Champion here. Maximized Velocity gives it haste as well. They only have one card in hand, so we're just going to go for Assassin's Trophy. And opponent scoops it up immediately. That's funny. Alright, game 2 here. Sideboard gameplay, we're going to bring and walk the plank for those Steel Leaf Champions. Taking out Liliana, and probably just going to hit submit there. Might have been a good idea to bring a Ritual of Soot as well. 2-land hand for us, that's a keep. Tap land for the opponent. We're going to go Woodland Cemetery Pass. We don't have anything for the turn 1 play. Branchwalker from the opponent here. Going to go for a land and Diagraph Ghoul coming in tapped. So they do get a 2-point hit on us for free. 3 lands into a Midnight Reaper. Okay. Could be alright to go for Assassin's Trophy, but we could just go for Death Baron. We can't go for Death Baron just yet. We're going to go for a Stitcher Supplier. We got to get some lands on the top of our deck. Or try to, at least. Woodland Cemetery off the top. Now we're rolling. Let's go for a Death Baron here. And crash in for 3. Could crash in with a Supplier, but want to be a little safe on how the if they had the removal. So Branchwalker does die. Elf into another Midnight Reaper. We're just going to start piling on the Death Barons. Let's get in for 7 points here. Keep in mind, if they do block with Midnight Reapers or other creatures, they still lose, you know, some life there. So very good play for us. 9 cards in hand for the opponent. Branchwalker coming in. Thrashing Brontodon was revealed off the top. We still have that Assassin's Trophy as a very good ace in the hole if we need it. But we could just always, you know, pile on the Death Barons. So they play 3 creatures here and get in for 3. We're going to play a land and just pile on our 3rd Death Baron. And then look and see what we have here. Let's just get in for lots of damage and see if they're going to double up on a Death Baron. They're going to triple up on a Death Baron. Ooh, wait a minute. No, they're not. They're rethinking that line of play. Yeah, they're going to at least double up on a Death Baron. We're going to go maybe with a Assassin's Trophy on that Branchwalker there, just to make sure that our Death Baron survives. They lost 3 life there, thanks to Midnight Reaper. Down to 8. 9 cards in hand, 10 cards in hand now. They have nothing but card advantage. Chupacabra coming in, killing a Death Baron, but probably by now it's too late. We also have Find in hand to grab another Death Baron from the graveyard if we really need to. Molderhulk from the opponent. Gonna grab a land here. And another Molderhulk. Ugh. Ugh. That is not good. Thud from the opponent as well. Ugh. Let's see. We have Trooper and Graveyard Marshal. We could just go find and grab the 2 Death Barons from the graveyard. That could be a line of play. Or we could go Graveyard Marshal here. Keep in mind, 1 Death Baron on the battlefield does make our other zombies have Death Touch, so I'm not that worried about it. Let's go Trooper here. Just to make another Death Touch creature. 6 cards in hand. Another Molderhulk from the opponent. Wow. Such a good card for them. I did brew with Molderhulk, the 4th Molderhulk. Wow. And Llanowar Elf there from the opponent with a Forebear's Blade. They might actually come out with a win here on the game. Let's see, getting in for 9. We're just going to go with a block. Not bad. Going to equip that to the Chupacabra. We have Underrealm Lich here. We really need another land for that finality to kind of help with the board state as far as weakening the Molderhulks for a turn to get in for more damage, but it doesn't look like that's not going to happen. Let's see here. We're just going to go with a block with the Lich. Pay for life to make it indestructible. Take 1 extra point of damage. Down to 4. I think we actually lose here thanks to the Molderhulks and that Forebear's Blade. Well, Tawny coming in from the opponent. Wow. What is this deck? Such a supplier from the opponent as well. We're going to grab Walk the Plank here. Like we want to just Walk the Plank Multani, but I feel like we're just dead now. Yeah, let's go to game 2. The game kind of got away from us. Let's bring in some Duresses, bring in some Bone Dragons, take out Underrealm Lich. We got kind of caught up in the groundswell there. Could possibly bring in some Ritual of Soot here against those Midnight Reapers. We're just going to probably hit Submit and go into game 2. Play first, yes. 2-land opening hand, that's a keep for me, especially with the 3/1 drops. Bone Dragon and Liliana. Gonna go land into Diregraph Ghoul past turn. Woodland Cemetery off the top, so perfect. We don't lose any life there. Getting in for 2. Being very aggressive. Diregraph Ghoul, Stitcher Supplier, and Death Baron are all in the graveyard here. We're going to go for an Overgrown Tomb and Death Baron and get in for lots of damage. Drop them down to 10. Wow, opponent scooping it up and just actually scooping it up fully. That's hilarious. I couldn't deal with that turn 3 Death Baron, I'll tell you what. I really wish we had gone to a game 3 there for the opponent. This is into match 3 here. Let's go for a Diregraph Ghoul tap into a Llanowar Elf. Second mana into a Graveyard Marshall and get in for 2. Down to 18. 6 cards in hand for the opponent, going for a Steelleaf Champion. We top deck an Assassin's Trophy, which is pretty much perfect, and then crash in for 5 here. But also love a land off the top of that Liliana. Adventurous Impulse from the opponent here. Going an Elvish Clancaller. So this is definitely a mono green Elves deck. Druid of the Cowl there. Land off the top with that Liliana. Very nice. Gonna go Liliana and just negative that Clancaller. And then just continue to attack in here with a 3/2. We could have attacked in with a Ghoul, but really didn't have to. Making sure Liliana can survive the next turn here. Adventurous Impulse. Grabbing Llanowar Elf and Pel Collector as well. 1 card in hand. Gonna go with a +3 here on Liliana. And then Trooper. And then just crash in for 5 here. We might lose Liliana this turn. Looks like they're going to go with a block this way. We're going to kill the Druid of the Cowl and pass turn here. Take them down to 6. 2 cards in hand for the opponent. Pel Collector once again. So they can definitely attack in here to try to kill Liliana, but it would drop them to 2. They're just going to scoop it up and go to game 2. Bringing in Ritual of Soot, taking out Underrealm Lich, bringing in Walk the Plank, taking out Stitcher Supplier, and just hitting Submit. So since this is a elf deck with no blossoming defense, those kind of things in the format, this is really just a pretty simple feature-based strategy. Nice keep for us. Need a second black mana, and we get it. Very nice. Diregraph Ghoul coming in tapped. Do we see a turn 3 Steelleaf Champion? Adventurous Impulse instead. We see a Vinemare. Ugh. Vinemare is probably the worst card to be matched up against for us. Getting in for 2 here. Because we can't really deal with it without doing Finality. Or just, straight up blocking it with a Death Touch creature. Attacking in for 2 here, waiting on the opponent to see if they're going to go with a block. Doubt that. They're going to go to 18, no problem. This is turn 3, so do they hit their land drop? They hit Thorn Lieutenant, so no second land drop. Interesting. Let's go for 3 lands and go for Death Baron here. And instead of giving them a land with Assassin's Trophy, we're just going to, hold our Assassin's Trophy and get in for 3 there. Hit Pel Collector. And pass turn once again. We're going to go with a land here. And Liliana. This is a bit of a misplay here. We actually go -2 on Thorn Lieutenant, thinking it's a 2/3 or 2/2 in our head, but instead misplay, and it actually still survives, and they get a 1/1 off that, which makes the Death Baron kill here really disappointing for us. And they can definitely crash in and kill Liliana here. Steelleaf Champion for them. So very disappointing line of play there. That's definitely a punt for sure. Forest for us. Let's go for Assassin's Trophy on the Steelleaf Champion. And Diregraph Ghoul coming in tapped and attacking in for 2. This sets up a situation where they're going to have Vinemare coming out this next turn. Woodland Cemetery into a Graveyard Marshall. And we're kind of just stuck now. That misplay with Liliana really hurt us. Assassin's Trophy hitting that Beast Wanderer is not bad, so we're going to go for that. But hitting lands here is not great. We do have some mana here to spin for that Graveyard Marshal. Keep in mind, though, that the Vine Mare is unblockable from black creatures, so once he starts attacking in with the Vine Mare, it's really going to be about it. Champion coming in once again. Another champion coming in. Ooh. Attacking in for 5, unblockable. Going to exile some stuff. Actually, no, we have Ritual Soot off the top there. Oh, it's so close to being amazing. That Vine Mare is the only thing that survives. But we can go Ritual of Soot here to kind of elongate the game a little bit. Druid and another Vine Mare. Ooh, painful. Yeah, this is going to be game here. Let's get on to game 3. Yeah, Vine Mare is very powerful against the Golgari deck here. So we could bring in maybe some Bone Dragon. About it as far as the matchup, if we want to do that. But I think we're just probably going to hit submit. Let's hit submit and go into game 3. Alright, opening hand is 2 lands for us. Let's go keep. Let's go for a Ghoul and pass. Need a black mana. Got into a second land there. Attacking in for 2. Down to 18. Paragraph Ghoul on turn 2 attack is really good, always. We didn't hit our black mana on turn 3, so we're a little stuck here. Marwyn coming in, and we hit for 2 there. Drop him down to 16. Thorn Lieutenant, now a 2/2. And Clan Caller. With another Clan Caller. Thankfully, we have Ritual of Soot in our hand, so we really have a good way for us to clear the board state. We just need another land. We're going to kill the Marwyn there and pass turn. We're going to crash in with a 4/5 and a 3/3. We're going to take that. Hit a land off the top. Oh, we're baking now. Attacking in with Diagraph Ghoul here and just going Ritual of Soot to clear the board state. 2 cards in hand for the opponent. Hitting another land with Marwyn and Elvish Clan Caller. Midnight Reaper for us, or Trooper. Let's go for Trooper here. Keep in mind the Trooper can be a 4/4. Gonna grab another Clan Caller. And attack in for 5 here. So we're gonna let that happen. But they're out of cards in hand, so we're at a pretty good situation now where we can try and bounce back. See what the top deck is. Diamond Mare, interesting. Thankfully the Trooper has Death Touch and is a 3/3. So we can make it a 5/5 if they want to attack in here with anything else besides Marwyn. It doesn't really matter. Death Touch kind of staves off everything. Another Death Baron off the top. So very good there. We're going to attack in for 4. And see if they want to trade with the Marwyn. Nope. But we are going to pump either way and take them down to 8. 1 card in hand. Vine Mare coming in. They do gain a life going to 9. Now this is a bit of a different situation because of the Death Touch on our creatures here. We also have just enough mana here to go for Find and maybe grab something else, but we're just going to attack in here. And all the Clan Callers are out of the thing as well. Out of the deck as well. All 4 of them. Let's see how they block here. Gonna block that way. Interesting line of play there. Sure. Now we have Find next turn. It's down to 5 here. Attacking in, dropping us down to 3. If they had Pump Spell there, we would have been dead. Vraska Golgari Queen is pretty fun here. But I think we just want to go Find and then grab a Death Baron, play that, and then discard the creature for that Trooper. Opponent said, Vine Mare pretty good. I said, great card, agreed. Yeah, it really does put me on the clock. And then, of course, opponent says, fine, pretty good too. I totally agree with that. Death Baron coming in, and we're attacking in for 3, and then we're discarding a Trooper here. Get 5. That's complete damage, and that's going to do it for the match. Very nice. Very close match. Vine Mare is one of the more scarier cards to go up against if you are Golgari Zombies. Let's get into match 4 here. 2 lands for us. We're going to go for a Diregraph Ghoul pass. Swampy. Ooh, Dead Weight. Go for a Graveyard Marshal on turn 2. Dead Weight again! Oh my gosh! right, let's go for another Graveyard Marshal and a Diagraph Ghoul once again. Assassin's Trophy! Huh. All right, let's go for a Death Baron here. Oh no, actually going to go for a Liliana. Plus an attack in for 2. Man, those early game removal spells, that hurts so bad. Vraska Golgari Queen here. Gonna get rid of the Diagraph Ghoul there. We're gonna plus on Liliana. Go Death Baron and Stitcher Supplier. Karn from the opponent here. Syncopate or Tezzy. We're gonna give him Syncopate. Alright. Death Baron off the top for us. Let's go with a plus on Liliana, and let's go for a kill on Vraska and just hit Karn. 4 cards in hand for the opponent. And that's going to do it. Very nice. Yeah, opponent had such good positioning there, and we just kind of outmaneuvered them with value creatures. Alright, let's get into game 2 here and see what we can do. That early game removal from the opponent was really hurtful. So 3 lands for us, going for a Diagraph Ghoul. Land tapped. Let's go for Overgrown Tomb and attack in for 2, and then go for a Graveyard Marshal. 3 lands for the opponent and pass here. Let's go for another land and then crash in for 5. Cast down on the Marshal. We saved that because we want to make sure Death Baron can come out without being countered, because we saw Syncopate in their deck. So this could be a bit of a... Ooh, Chupacabra. Oh, we thought it was going to be Syncopated or something, but nope, got chooped. Got chooped. Going to 5 with Liliana here, hitting in for 2. They definitely need to hit Liliana, but Liliana can still destroy Chupacabra if we go with Diagraph Ghoul and Supplier next turn. Ooh, they go with a direct hit there. We have Liliana, Find, and Stitcher Supplier. Let's go for Supplier here, and Ghoul, and go -2 and kill the Chupacabra. Not sure if that's the best play, but we'd go with a Find there. Grab Marshal and Baron back. That way next turn is a little bit better for us. Gonna go with a +2 there for Vraska and pass turn. Let's go Woodland Cemetery, +2 on Liliana here. Don't hit anything. Let's hit in on Vraska here. Assassin's Trophy for Death Baron. I'm gonna say yes. Get a land. No problem. Let's see. Gonna go for another Graveyard Marshal and Death Baron. They have 3 mana up, so they could go with Syncopate here. They are gonna go for Syncopate. Yep. That's one of the things. But they are still going to scoop it up there. Nice. Ooh, that game 1 was so scary on that, and then game 2 was not as bad. Let's get into match 5 here. This is the last match of the set here. Go with a mulligan with a land off the top. And a Stitcher Supplier there. 2 lands for the opponent, passing back. Woodland Cemetery, get in for 1. Hold up an Assassin's Trophy. Vicious Rumors here. Interesting play for them. And discard a land here. Hope we don't regret that. We hit a land off the top, so we do still have 4 land for Liliana or Vraska if we need it. Death Baron coming in. Essence Scatter from the opponent. And just getting in for 1 here. 5 cards in hand from the opponent. Another Vicious Rumors. Interesting. Yeah, discarding that land again. And a Death Baron off the top. Getting in for Midnight Reaper. Attacking in for 1. Down to 19. Radical Idea from the opponent. Thief of Sanity. We have Assassin's Trophy for that, so let's just attack in here and see how they're going to block. We don't really care. We're just going to go Assassin's Trophy regardless. They get a land, and down to 15 they go. Fountain of Renewal from the opponent here. And Psychic Corrosion. Oh, this is a Dimir Mill deck. Okay. I see what you're working with. Let's get in for 4. Down to 12 here for the opponent. Another Fountain of Renewal. 2 cards in hand. Gonna go Liliana, but it's gonna get Sinister Sabotaged. They definitely have the counters here. We're still going to crash in for 7, though. Down to 7. Do they have anything to deal with our creatures? If they don't, that's it. Oh, that is it for the game. Nice. Alright guys, you saw the matches, you saw the deck tech. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. And make sure to comment down below what deck tech I should cover next. I would love to hear you, as well as, you know, see what you think of for future deck techs and future videos for the channel. Also guys, wanted to make a really quick announcement at the end of the video here. I'm streaming on Twitch again, and I'll definitely put my link in the comments below. And I have a schedule. I'll put it on the screen as well. Really nice. Trying to do Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's kind of going to be like my main kind of schedule-ish a little bit right now. We're going to mostly do maybe some Magic Arena, some MTGO, you know, some Magic most of the time, but maybe we'll stop and do some like, you know, art stuff like drawing or illustration work. Or maybe even just playing, you know, Dragon Ball FighterZ or something like that. So something a little more casual. Basically just a reason to hang out with me and have some fun. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome MTG content just like this. And make sure to tap the bell icon to be notified whenever a video is made live. If you want to keep watching content, here are 2 more videos for you. This video and many others are sponsored by MTGO Traders and Cape Fear Games. Buy and sell digital singles to build your online collection today with MTGO Traders, and get your paper singles, accessories, and much more from Cape Fear Games. Whatever your Magic needs, both places have you covered.